Welcome back to Sunday Smoke, or the Sunday Smoke / House Family Fitness podcast. Trying something a little bit different these days, or today. I shouldn't say these days. Move the camera up a little bit so y'all can kind of look down on me a little bit, maybe. So you have played with some lighting. I'm still kind of blown out behind me here because of the window, bright sun, because this is a middle of the day podcast during the week. So I just want to follow up a little bit. I'm thinking I'm going to try to do a multi-episode podcasts about the subject I brought up yesterday, which hopefully you guys are watching right now because it's about 12 o'clock Central. That's when I released the full recording of what I did last night on YouTube. You can follow it on Spotify, YouTube. I actually started a Rumble account, which I don't know what that is. I just saw it and tried it out, so I do have an account. I've put some little short videos on it to see if I can get any response from you guys. You can do it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you name it. Sunday Smoke and House Family Fitness Podcast are on all the platforms. So maybe I was going to do a little recommendations of maybe what I was trying to talk about yesterday. I got this, there we go. I brought one scenario that if your car broke down on a kind of semi-isolated road on Sunday afternoon, would you be able to first get somewhere in your own power, locomotion, and still be able to complete it and not be destroyed, and be able to enjoy the rest of the day after all your difficulties went away? Be able first and secondly, know which way to go. I was bringing up the convenience as being tyrannical because it kind of guides everything we do these days. And we're losing a lot of things. I'm not like pointing out everybody. I'm not pointing out any specific groups. This is more of a thought process. I want everybody to kind of realize, we're going to kind of do an accountability, or I don't know if it's accountability or action kind of plan. It's like if something goes wrong, or it's like your capabilities. That's a good word. Capabilities. We're going to maybe do an audit at some point. Let's do an audit on your capabilities. Let's find certain things to do this week, next week, the following weeks. Let's eliminate a known convenience and see how we function without it. This will give you an example. We have so many conveniences in our modern life. We're probably the most connected, the most have expensive gears. We have automated deliveries, automated payments. We don't have to go get things physically. We don't have to make time, plan, get it. I'm a victim of it. I do my coffee that way. I do dog food that way. You don't even have to walk into the big box stores anymore. So you can get on your device, get on the computer, and say, I'm going to pick up this stuff today, and it will be pulled for you and waiting on you. So if it's smaller items, you don't even have to go in. They'll bring it to you. So if it's some places, you might have to walk in, and there's a locker there that you put your PIN number in. You get your thing. You have no communication with other people, like face-to-face with another human. This is a lot of conveniences. But if you really start thinking about convenience, we miss a lot of things. I want you to this might sound, I'm not trying to be a prepper or zombie apocalypse guy. Walk around your house today, this afternoon, now, and count how many different places you can get clean water. It's such a convenience. We've had it our whole lives. We live in a very good country, very good area. I can walk through my house, and I'm downstairs and in the Vulcan layer, the basement. I like to call it the men's room instead of a man cave, because this is where all the men hang out. It's our room, and I'm very juvenile. But there's two sinks down here. There's one in my shop sink in the garage. There's a bathroom that I installed last summer down here. Got I can get shower, bathtub. Got the sink. Go upstairs. 3 sinks, bathrooms. There's one sink in the kitchen. One sink in the mudroom coming in by the laundry. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 places that I can just walk up and just get clean water whenever, and show you what a convenience it is. Let your water get cut off. Let them be working on the system or main break, we got some cold weather coming up, something breaks, how much anxiety and stress this causes for you because you're going to do without water for a day or half a day, or you can't take a shower when you usually do. That's a convenience. I know that's people think, oh, that's being hard. But no, what happens? That's a convenience that we've had for so long that we don't even think about it anymore. But my subject yesterday was talking about more of technology because I see it, like I said, driving the bus. Don't want to sound like the old dude saying, like rock and roll's bad for these young guys, or all these kids doing now, they're not reading, they're just reading comic books. I mean, there's always something in some generation that the older generation looks back and said that the younger generation, that they're going to become zombies and they're not going to be able to do anything. I agree. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I can't honestly remember what my generation that would have been that thing. Maybe it's actually probably MTV, like watching music videos. That's what we were addicted to at some point. And I was in that generation when it first came out. I remember when it first came on. But now some of this technology stuff is everywhere, and it begins when they're this old. So they're not growing up into it. It's just always been there. It's that convenience that they're not going to know to miss, if that makes sense. It's something that they're unaware that it wasn't there before. So I wanted to go into that, most informed. Think about it, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's like they have these devices, they can get on Google, they can see almost any description of anything, with AI stuff coming out. But if they use it as a tool, it's great. If they don't use it as a tool, they use it as, it's almost magic to them. The large language models, this magic, because they put something in and it spits right back out, and they don't know any different, then that's what it is, right? It's alarming if you look back or look into it, look at it from, maybe an older perspective. Like if it was never there and it's new, it's cool, right? It's like this, I'm a victim of it. I've used it. I used it, something, Google Gemini. I used it this morning trying to manufacture a picture. I was going to make a little artwork for the podcast. I was going to list it on Instagram. I was going to show a person with a car that was disabled on the road, looking confused, holding their phone that had no service or no battery, and what's their next move? What's their plan B? Which way are they going to go first? Can they go? Do they know how far to go? Are they going to be able to not become a problem because they're having a problem? I don't want, like I said, I don't want to sound like a prepper. I'm not putting on camouflage. I'm not like storing 72 months of food. I have water stored up here just in case, which some of that stuff, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but that's not what I'm talking about. I want to kind of function, talk about the loss of some of our function because of convenience. I brought up before, like big box stores. You plug it in, Lowe's, Home Depot, the grocery, Sam's, Target, just whatever. You don't have to even go to the place, which is a great convenience. I get it. But you only have to go to the big box store, park your vehicle in the big parking lot, find somewhere to park, make friends. Somebody pulls in front of you, you get that anxiety, get your spot. Some people, we will park really close, but you might have to park towards the back. You don't have to walk inside. Walk in there, and I'm throwing it out. We don't even have to gather that stuff anymore. We used to be a hunter-gatherer species. We used to have to go find the stuff, hunt it down, track it. We had to go out and gather the stuff and bring it back. We don't have to do that now in our big box stores. We can call or get on. We don't have to call. Look at my Neanderthal self. We don't even have to call. You get on the app, get on your PC, you go through their inventory, you pick out what you want. Somebody at the store pulls it for you. And two things can happen. They can pull it for you. It can be delivered to your house same day, next day. Bring it in. There's some services that actually bring it into your house. Some just bring it to your house and it's delivered. Then that's the gathering you have to do. You have to go to your outside of your house and gather it from there and bring it inside. two things with that. We're losing ability to just like look for things. Like you have to use this a little bit, because I've seen kids in Home Depot. Oh, you name it. They don't have to talk to anybody. They don't have to look at the signs up there to tell you where stuff is. They're looking at their phone because their app is going to give them a map to what aisle, what bay, what little cubby hole it's in. So they're turning this off, and they're doing it from a very young age. So they're not using it. Another thing that bothers me about it is I like to call it micro conversations. There's micro conversations are going away. It's like when you go to the store. I love talking to people. I love meeting different people. I like to talk to the people behind the counter. I'll talk to the people that are there working. They're there for customer service to like point you in the right direction. Or some of like I brought up Lowe's. Somebody, if you have a question, that person there might have an answer for you for what device or fastener that you're looking for. But it's the micro conversations with strangers too. It's like if you're walking down the aisle and somebody's looking at something and just talk to them. It's like, oh, look, it looks like you're building a fence. I did one 5 or 6 years ago. Let me show you. I use this little tool right here to help me wind the wire around the chain link fence. And I didn't know that they had this pulling system. I was using this rail and doing this and just have those little conversations with people. And that doesn't happen anymore because you don't have to go to the store. It makes me sad. That's part of the mental capabilities that are declining with some. I'm not going to say everybody. I'm not going to say a whole generation, but it's easier and easier, and it's becoming the norm. But snowballs into different things. I've been out. I've shared this with people at the gym. Some of my clients. I went out to the movie this summer with the family. We went to a matinee, and I haven't been to an actual movie theater in a while. You don't pay at the front like you used to at this facility. You walk in and you go to the concession stand, and that's where a person is. A young person is there. Like, I get the business model. It's great. So you buy your ticket there. So you have to communicate with a person. I'm not picking on anybody. Young person, first job, just plain being nervous. Might have been first day. They don't make eye contact with you. They don't hardly respond because it's probably a side effect of COVID too. I mean, this 5 years ago, this person might have been 12. Okay, and they lost a lot of socialization for a year and a half, 2 years. Me being the guy that I am, people call me the mayor. Trying to conversation with the person, and get it. They're nervous. They're so focused on being able to like get the tickets I wanted. I had to put in the seats I wanted, then our little snacks. This person can only do one thing at a time. No fault whatsoever. I'm very patient. Not a problem. Just doing what you need to do. But had no have a good day, enjoy the movie. You have any questions, stuff like that is just gone, which that's part of the mental capabilities that some of the technology is, because a lot of people don't have to interact with a person anymore. I want to get into kind of the physical things. I got my notes here, and I've got a lot of pages of notes. I've been thinking about it yesterday. I worked on it some this morning before I went and drove my little hooligans around. Part of my morning routine is I do some movement things, and then I work on the brain a little bit. I read. I want to get into this podcast again. I want to start doing more production type stuff. I really enjoy it, and I'm gonna make more time for it. Plan B, capabilities. One thing about it, you should almost audit your capabilities from time to time. I say we should criticize ourselves every now and then. Look at it. So that's how you get better. You actually stand back and look and see how you've done. You plug in whatever task. Be a little critical on yourself to see if you can do it better the next time, more efficient the next time, whatever. But if you think about physical capabilities, it's going to sound minor, but it adds up over a long time. It's the sum of all the aggregates of we're not doing this stuff now. And if you're not doing it at a younger age, how's that populate into when you get older? I'm not talking about like what your max squat is, bench press, VO2 max number. If you get it from a watch, if you go get it from a clinic, whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about your PR on your 5K. I'm not talking about how you look, your aesthetics, if you're lean, mean fight machine or, show model. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, you have to have, I don't know a good word, the functional fitness has been used over and over. I want to think more as a functional utility. How about that? That's a better word. Utility. A utility. It's like, what if I need to do something, do I have the tools? Like if something goes unplanned, do I have the tools? I don't know. I can't think of another scenario. It's like, okay, well, here's a scenario. You're on vacation. You're at the Disney World. You're seeing the princesses. You're doing all this stuff. There's a trolley system. There's a monorail. There's the bus system. That's how you get from the hotels. You're staying off property. You got to get there, park here. You either have to walk a long distance. You're walking all day long. So what happens? What would happen? How could you adjust to the situation if all of a sudden there's a trolley down? It's down. You're in the back of Animal Kingdom, plug in the park, and whatever trolley system is to get you back to your hotel is down. It's not just for you. It's down. Now you have all these people. I'm sure they have a contingency plan or whatever, but what if it's down? Could you, after a day of enjoyment with the fam, enjoyment with whomever, be able to get back to where you're living that week, that weekend, that day in a good capacity? I'm not saying you can do it in 25 minutes, 15 minutes. If it's 3 miles, if it takes you 2 hours, could you do it? And if you had to do it, would it run the rest of your vacation time? That's talking about some of the convenience I'm talking about, or being able to not be a problem. It's just not a problem. It makes me think of another thing, talking about the big box stores. I know I'm kind of rambling, and we'll see what pieces and parts of this recording I use. I love this Riverside. We'll say their name again. It's really good software. It lets me run this stuff, and I can get rid of all my ums and pauses, or it seems to flow well. I don't know if y'all see the product, like the product. Sometimes I seem a little jumpy. If you're old like me, it's kind of like the little max headroom, kind of my head bopping around because it is cutting out stuff and it's blending it together. It does a really good job. That's convenient. This is a convenience. It's like, that's think about that. This is a convenience that makes this easier for me to do. It's technology, because technically all I really need is I need a PC and a camera, like software to record it. But then I have to go back and piece all this stuff together as me, like by myself, like not to me, but I would have to do it. Not saying that I couldn't, but this is a convenience. It does this for me. Nothing wrong with it. But once you start thinking about small things throughout the day that is a convenience, and what is it taking away from you? What's it giving you too? I mean, I'm not saying all convenience is bad. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not a cynic. I'm not skeptical. It's just I want to get into more. I need to get back my focus. It's like, what are we losing? Being House Family Fitness and Sunday Smoke podcast, both are kind of fitness oriented. Kind of, I want people to achieve better things in their lives. And be able to enjoy things. That's the whole goal. Being able to get things done in a semi-economical way and still be able to enjoy more things. We've got touch screens, we got voice activated things. You don't have to use dexterity sometimes. Like nobody writes anymore. I mean, it's like my notes. Like I've taken up, like I'm actually handwriting my notes. I don't want to say script. I'm just writing down my ideas. I'm doing the journal now. I can dictate to a journal, but I'm actually writing. I'm using that small motion. Everybody's like, oh, the people, that's to being real nitpicky. Populate it to a younger generation where they're not doing any of that. They're not having to use dexterity. They're not having to manipulate the pen, do this stuff. If they never have to do it, I don't know what's going to happen. But you be able to use your hands in an efficient manner. It's like, opening jars, using a manual can opener. Just these small things we're phasing out. I'm not talking about like tomorrow I'm gonna have a problem, but if I'm 6 and never have to do that, and we're taking all this stuff away, what is that gonna look like? Could be perfectly fine, or could it be a problem? I don't know. This is the thought process. This is the thinking exercise. We're all so connected and formed. So it gets me thinking of my a little bit of my philosophy readings back from ancient Greece. We're all connected through these devices or this. We're connected. Me and you are connected through this digital thing. You don't have to come see me. I'll be a big, great sophist or orator or presenter. You can sit back in your chair at home, whenever you want to, and watch this, which is kind of cool. It's a great convenience. Yeah. It's a convenience for me to be able to talk to you. That makes me very happy. But a lot of these conveniences, all this information, stuff's going to seem like magic to some people. It's like they don't know how it works, don't need to know how it works, don't care how it works. But when it fails, who's going to fix it? Yeah. That gets into my little philosophy thinking. It's like, yeah. And is it making us more fragile? Thought experiment. We're becoming more fragile. We have the most technology, the most ways to communicate with each other, stay connected, however you want to phrase that. YouTube, you can find almost anything you want to see. If you need to know how to build something, move something, design something, it's all there. Does it make us more fragile? I think in some aspects it does. Because if you don't have it, that's if you're counting on being able to Google it, you don't have a plan. You just have hope somebody else has done it. I'm not trying to get into the prepper thing. Really not. But what if it goes away? Let's see what else I put on here. I thought about some challenges, maybe some skill set stuff. I was trying to make it functional abilities, utilities. I say utilities, not abilities. I thought really hard. I put it in my notes several times on this page. Rucking's a great example. It's like, let's put on, it's the new hottest thing too. It's very popular on all the grams and the books and the talks and all that. There's benefit to it. Loaded exercise, which basic loaded exercise is walking, running. You're adding more load by putting a weight vest on, put a backpack on. I think I brought it up yesterday's little short podcast, little blurb. Could you, like in a controlled environment, this is like a test or a functional utility test, like whatever you have in your vehicle, like what you carry every day. You have a briefcase, you have a backpack, you have a purse, book bag, gym bag, your bottle of water, your coffee cup, your laptop, whatever you have to go function away from your house. Go to the park, grab all that stuff and carry it with you. Just pretend, play pretend. Your vehicle is incapacitated. And go for time. Go for hour, 2 hours, 3 miles. You choose the metric and see if you could do it. It's going to be annoying. It'll be hard. It's good to see if you could do it. Just test your utility. Rucking's a great way of doing it. Grab a weight vest. Grab your old camping backpack, your backpack, school backpack, your kid's backpack. Load it up with a bunch of books. Strike out. I'm not like challenging you to go out and walk down Highway 16 and see if you can make it to Calera from here. Find you a place. Go to the park. Map it out. It's like, okay, my car broke down 2.5 miles. I can't contact anybody. I don't need to call for help. Let me see what I can do. Do it. It's like, let's think about things like that. Because I want you to, if something happens, I keep saying if ends, buts. If ends and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? Dick Butkus back in the day. But I don't want you to become a problem. Maybe you're the solution to the problem. That being cliched, are you a solution or are you a problem? Sounds kind of petty, but say something simple like that. Like today. Today's a good example. It's like we had this big cold front come through, and say something fails. This is like being prepared. Or could you be outside for 2.5 hours right now? I've got a sweatshirt on. I've got a coat in my truck. I actually don't have a coat in my truck. I took a coat with me this morning, but I do have a blanket and or kind of sleeping pad in the truck that I drive. So I am okay. Now, should you do that? Yes, you should have something in your trunk, in your SUV, just in case something happens. You have extra water. Yes, I'm not talking about that. But if you had to be outside for 2.5 hours right now, could you manage it? It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be cold. There's good wind chill. Don't put yourself in danger. But could you manage it? Up here first, could you solve the problems in front of you? Do you have the resources to solve the problems? Do you have a utility? Could you move quickly enough to get from where you're at to a place where it's considered more safe or a shelter? This is what I'm talking about. Just the convenience of everything we take for granted. Not saying convenience is bad, but we take for granted the convenience. The biggest tool that everybody has, which might scare some of you, especially if you have some younger children or younger generation, is the biggest tool you have is your mind. Being able to adapt to what you're doing, or being able to be under stress and still do something. All these conveniences, that's another thing about your utilities, is it reduces our stress, which is fine, which is great. Probably, hopefully adds joy and longer life to you. But when the stress comes now, even if it's not a major stress, the anxiety level is much higher because we don't have that stress in any other aspect of our life. I'm not saying we're not going for that, what's his name, that David Goggins. He's not, just do hard things, no. But if you think about it, if you've never had a real stressful situation where everything is kind of goes as planned, when something goes wrong, it is stressful. You can't help it. It's your mind. Your resiliency of your mind hasn't been tested in a long time. So it's gonna be hard. I got my notes out of order here. Small conversations. I had that big highlight. I squared it off so I wouldn't forget to talk about it, and I didn't. Actually went out of my little order. My convenience of making a structure didn't work out so well. That's fine. It's making me use my brain, making me think about it. It's like I don't want to miss things. I want it to be cohesive. I don't know. You have to let me know if it's being cohesive. Talked about not going to the grocery store. Don't even have to load carts anymore. You don't have to push heavy things. So what's that going to do? That's going to decrease our physical strengths. We don't have to pick up heavy things anymore. It's muscle mass is one of the best indicators of longevity. It's the best indicators of a healthy metabolism. We have a lot of environment related diseases now, and some of it has to do with metabolism. So we're making convenience where we don't have to do those normal activities of daily life like we used to anymore. I'm not talking about like we're not having to go hunt animals and farm things and build everything. We don't have to go get anything. We don't have to load it in the cart, push it around the store, unload it, have it scanned, paid for, load it back in, take it to the car, unload it, bring it home, figure out how to get it out of the car, inside the house. Yes, insanity. I'm not saying it's bad. Like I want to keep emphasizing that. I'm not downgrading people that do this. I do this. Like I have dog food. I have 44 pounds of dog food that will be delivered tomorrow. I do it out of convenience. I have it on a schedule. I've got it down to where I get this at a certain, I think it's every 3 weeks for my dogs. I get the dog food. It comes. I have it scheduled. I don't have to do it. I don't have to worry about it. It's just on automatic now. I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to go to the store at 9 o'clock at night because I forgot to get the dog food 2 days, 3 days in a row. Pick up the 44-pound bag of dog food, put it in the cart, go check out, take it out, put it in the truck, drive home, get out of the truck, bring it in here, put it in the bin. I don't have to do that anymore. Another physical thing that probably that kind of moves into is we're losing some aerobic capacity. I mean, I'm not going to say this is, to start doing this stuff and you're going to be a fit human being. We're not using it, so we're not gaining or maintaining. So that's losing, right? Mobility. We're not having to reach over, bend, move stuff out of the way, figure out how I need to move this object anymore in different locations at a different levels. Coming off my back porch, like this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be a box right there. I know where it's at. Same place. I'll open it outside, bring the materials in, Might open the box, make candles on it, bring everything in at one time. Yes, but you don't, I mean, I'm not increasing mobility, like keeping mobility. And if you don't have to go anywhere like that, this is another, I mean, all this stuff's so minute. If you think about it, if you populate it over a large span, these small things become pretty big. If you do go to the big box store, all right, they're all on one level. There's no stairs, there's no upstairs. There's an elevator, escalator. So you don't have to physically walk up the stairs. Everybody says, so what? Yeah, that's not that little bit. Some of aggregates is being pulled out. This sum is pulled out of the aggregate. Don't have to do that anymore. Parking lot smooth, level. You might have one step. Most times coming in the entrance, there's no step, because I mean, it's just a ramp coming in. There's no bumps or having to change. I mean, what's happening? We're not testing our proprioception. We're not testing our body awareness in space. We're not having to react to anything. We're not testing our agility. If you don't have to test your agility or use your agility for a long period of time, now you get to an older population. What happens? Why do older people fall? Well, first of all, they lose speed. When I say speed, I'm not talking about a 100-meter dash. I'm talking about the ability to, like, if I stumble on something, I can move my foot fast enough to prevent me to fall. It's the first thing you lose. Okay, well, if you lose your agility or proprioception, well, it makes it easier to have that stumble. And you haven't tested that. You haven't used that in so long. So now you're becoming a fall risk. Right? So now you're a fall risk. Well, if you haven't stressed your muscle system, your skeletal system, if you fall, it gives you a higher chance of being injured. I mean, it might sound insane, but if we stay convenient to everything all the time, this becomes, over a long period of time, this becomes a problem. The convenience has created the industry I'm in. It's created the industry house family fitness is in. Because for convenience, we don't have to do physical things. So what? Now we have gyms, we have personal training studios. Why? Because so we can stay fit, so we can have an enjoyable health span, not lifespan, a health span. We can stay healthy longer. We can have utility longer. So that's about what I'm saying. It's a healthy utility. We're able to utilize things. We're able to do things that we want. I mean, like writing. I mean, that's the simplest thing. That's one thing that I'm going to bring up here in the house is we write. Like, I've been fortunate, little Vulcan loves to write. She's written her own book. She's written a book. Like, she hand wrote pages. But now she's moved into typing. But she still likes to draw and all. She's using dexterity. She's using the small motor function. She's using her brain. She's like, it probably helps with her eyesight, because that's another small thing with everything that we have now. Over time, we're this far away from the devices we look at, the screens that we look far distance anymore. I'm in this 12 by 15 room, 12 by 13 room. If I stay in here doing my work, reading my book, I'm not looking any further than 10 to 12 feet anytime. I'm not getting the full spectrum of light from outside if I'm in here. That's why I like being outside. 2 reasons. I just like outside. I get outside in the mornings, we get outside in the afternoons. I sit outside in the afternoon, read. I like the natural light. I like the sounds. I like hanging out with the dogs. And Miss Vulcan sit out there. We have our little afternoon conversations. And I think it's beneficial for our species because we get full spectrum, like I said, full spectrum of lights, all the colors of the light coming in. That's what we're made for. And sitting there, if I look up, I'm not looking at 10 feet away. I'm looking at 100 feet away, 150 feet away. I'm looking at the trees. I'm looking at the pasture. I'm looking at some small creature over there that ran across, a deer ran across. What are the dogs barking at? But if you take that away, not going to affect me this week. Not going to affect me 2 months, a couple of years, probably going to affect me. A couple of decades will make a difference. That's kind of what I wanted to bring into the tyranny of convenience, because it's it's kind of dictating what we can and can't do because we're looking for convenience. Like I said, I'm not anti-convenience. I use convenience. Hell, I got Wi-Fi in my truck now. I used it yet. My main purpose, my main thought process, what I'm telling myself, whether it becomes true or not, it's a very small fee that I have to pay to have it. It's a very low speed internet service, but it's going to work pretty much anywhere I go. If I get into a dead spot where there's no cell service, I can do a Wi-Fi call. There's my convenience. Yeah, this is this I want this to become maybe more of a thought process or thought exercise, and like consider what you take advantage or take granted. This convenience. I mean, like having high-speed internet. It's convenience. Can we do it on a dial-up modem? Sure. I don't know if the software would handle it. It probably would. But me doing this podcast this afternoon, it might take till next week before it got to you. It's convenience, right? Don't realize it. All right. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. See what my schedule brings up. Happy Veterans Day to all those guys out there. Tomorrow is the 11th. Everybody that served, proud of you. Thank you. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow, and we'll see how this turns out.